And I know more people will be hopping on as we go through. But hi, everybody. Welcome. I wanted to say thank you so much to Olivia Grist. Is it Grist or Grist?
Grist, but either way, it's whatever people say it, however.
Okay. For jumping on tonight with us. She's going to be sharing some of her pointers and tips on how to run a successful business, because your team's like doing amazing. Like I see you all like in the top 200, like what, every report?
Yeah, it's been really good so far. So I'm curious to see how we'll end this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'll go ahead and pass it off to you. And then if we happen to have any, like a few minutes for questions or anything at the end, that is great. If not, we're all yours. So take it away.
Awesome. So I sort of struggled with this information, just so you guys know, not because it's like bad info, but just because I struggle walking that line with like, do this, do that. And I like never like to micromanage, but I feel like I'm also doing a disservice if I'm not presenting what I know to be true in a way that like is take it or leave it. So I hope that no one hates me at the end of this call. If you feel free to. But I basically just wrote down what I knew I needed to hear in the beginning of coaching. So if I haven't ever shared my story with you, or you haven't heard it, I actually signed up to be a coach. It's like my 3-year coach anniversary this month, like this week actually. And I signed up solely to get a discount on Shaco. I had heard about Shaco and I was like, it's awesome. Like I had seen results from people. And this was like probably 2 years before I actually signed up. And then I told my husband how much it costs. And he was actually into personal training and fitness and all kinds of stuff before that. And he like laughed, like he was like, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like, no, we're not paying that much money. And I was like, okay. And so I didn't do it, but like always regretted it. And I was like, maybe I should just try it. And so one month I finally decided I'm going to get a challenge pack. I'm going to get it. I'll sign up to be a coach. One of my good friends named Molly had posted her T25 results. And I was like, oh, girl's killing it. I need to do this. And so I reached out to her. And I got signed up as a coach, never was going to do it. Like not in a million years. Like I had sold Avon before. And I had done some of the other, like, oh God, if I even knew, that's why I wasn't very good at it. And I was like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to be like traveling around with like a trunk of jewelry. Like it's just not my thing, but I wanted that discount. So I did TurboFire, loved it. I lost like 10 pounds right away. Which wasn't a lot to say because I was literally eating garbage all the time. So it was probably just like my body detoxing from McDonald's. Like it was like, it thought it was like near death. Like it was like, where's my fries? But then for a long time I was at a standstill. I wasn't like completely cleaning up my diet. I, again, didn't have any intention of coaching. So I didn't really have anything that was pushing me forward. I was in nursing school and hated it. Like from seriously 6 weeks in, like I was like, I hate this. But I like had committed and I was into it. And I had always been that girl who gave up on everything she started. And I was like, this is not going to be another thing. Like, I'm not going to quit this. And so I like put my head down and forced myself to do it. And then it was coming up on that mark where it was like 7 months left. And my student loans, like my stuff I was given, ran out. And so everything from that point forward, I was going to have to pay in full out of pocket. It was like $13,000. And I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, I can't do this. And my husband was actually like, don't you like not even like it? And I was like, yeah, no, I hate it. And it literally was just the weirdest thing. Like I was like, I could coach. I was like, I've seen people coach. Like Nikki's killing it. Nikki is my upline. And she wasn't always, but Molly, who I had signed up with, is her sister-in-law. And she actually quit coaching. So I was given to Nikki. So I was adopted. Ended up being a huge blessing. But so I was like, I could do that, right? And he was like, yeah, I don't know why not. And so it was like a switch. Like I was just like, I'm going to coach. Like I'm going to do this. And so my first point in all of that is that you have to have a why. If you are starting out and you don't have a why or a vision, or you know why you're here, it's never going to work. And that is one of my topics that is as blunt as possible. You will just crumble if you're not sure what you're doing. And I don't mean that like not sure, like I have a lot of reasons, or like I can't put my finger on it. That's fine. But I mean like the difference between, I could watch Netflix or I could coach. Like, no, you need a reason to do it, to be here, to get up every day. And so start with, and I just told this to my team the other day, start with what your problems are. If you aren't sure what your why is, or you're having a hard time setting a vision or goals for yourself, what do you worry about every day? What are your problems? So for me at that point, I hated nursing. My biggest problem was I had to get up. I had to go away from my house for 14 hours a day doing something I absolutely hated. I was overweight. I was unhappy. Those were all of my problems. So my goals were feel great. So that meant either like losing weight, toning up, whatever it was, probably both at the time, and find a job that I loved doing that could still provide for me and my family. And that was what I used to set my why. And it wasn't, people say, have a why that makes you cry. Maybe. I mean, I guess if it makes you cry, great. If not, like, power forward, you guys. You don't need to cry. You need to be freaking angry if that's what it takes sometimes. Like, I was livid and bitter, and I was like, I hate this. I'm not doing it anymore. And if I cried, it was only out of pure frustration. It was not out of like, oh, it's so emotional. So don't like go around feeling bad about whatever your why is. Just have one. So from that why, set your vision, set your goals. And that's a little more logical or technical. If you know that you want to quit your full-time job, what do you make every month? And what do you need to supplement that with? And then how many challenge packs does that equal? Or how many challenge packs and cycle bonuses does that equal? So reverse engineer your goals. That was the second thing I did. And for me, that number was $1,000 a month. I knew that if I made $1,000 a month, my husband said that was the number that we could be okay. Like, obviously it was never going to be a nursing salary in the beginning, but we could be okay. And so I had that number going over and over in my head. I don't know if you guys have read The Circle Maker. Just side note, if you are Christian at all or want to be or interested, it's a great PD book. But the author talks about circling all of your goals and your prayers. And I literally circled $250 a week, like everywhere. It was on my chalkboard wall. Like, I was like, this is my number. Like, I need this. Granted, is that a 5-week month? No, 4 weeks. Okay, so 5-week month, I was like killing it. So anyway, have like your logical goals too. Set your business hours. You want to punch me in the face? I get it. I want to punch me in the face. I hate business hours. So stupid. I'm like, why am I going to set business hours when I can get up and I can work from 8 to 5 every day like any normal person? Because you won't. That's why. Because you won't. Because life happens. Because the dogs are barking, the baby's crying, the laundry needs done. You've reheated the same cup of coffee 7 times. Business hours are super key. I literally have a planner that it's a day planner and it has like 6, 7, 8 like times. And to this day, like, I work completely for myself. I do nothing else. We have no kids. As you've noticed, if you heard me say I slept till 2 o'clock today, but for the most part, I write down my exact daily duties, if you will. Like, I know that from 8 to 9 a.m. is when I'm doing my inviting, because if I don't, I'm not going to do it. I have the rest of the day to do it, but I won't, because I'm out of my routine. I'm confused. Then I start making excuses, and here it comes. I didn't invite anybody today. So even to this day, like I said, 3 years later, I am still working from a business hour schedule. Commit to program, Shakeology, and your meal plan. I'm going to say it again in case you didn't hear me, a program and Shakeology. So again, super blunt, sorry, don't hate me. If you're not drinking Shakeology, you're not going to run a business. You're not. If you are selling a Lexus, you don't pull up in a BMW, right? It's the same reason that people who work anywhere are required or recommended to do that thing. I worked at Aeropostale in high school, and I wasn't allowed to wear Hollister jeans there. Like, why? Why would I do that? Because, I mean, they were way better too. Aeropostale is awful. I don't know why I worked there. But if you work at Wendy's, you don't come in on your break with an Arby's bag. Represent your product, guys, and we are fortunate enough to represent a great product. There are some people that work for a company that represents a shitty product. Think about how the people at It Works feel. They're like, oh, I have to post about this wrap. Like, no, you get to post about a freaking Frosty that's delicious and amazing. And I made ice cream out of mine today. So drink Shaco, commit to a program. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have abs. You just have to try. Seriously, like, just committing to committing is what coaches do. It's not about results. I mean, results are great, but there are people who don't want to work with people who have results. And I'll share this really quick. I shared this on my team page today. 68% of America is overweight, and 35% of those people are obese. 70% of people in the United States have said that they're unhappy in their career. So if you're one of those things, either you're doing coaching on the side, but you have a full-time job that you hate, or you are doing your program, but you still aren't seeing the results that you want to see, guess who's going to relate to you? 70% of America is going to relate to you. So the 30% of people are the 30% of the people that relate to the people who are like, oh my God, my life is so great. I love my job. I have my abs, right? So own it. If you are overweight and you don't want to be, own it. I think that the most important part of being a coach is having that confidence from the beginning going forward, and not even confidence like, oh, I'm going to rock my business. Like it's okay if you don't believe that, you know, you're going to be a six-figure coach in a year. That's fine. Most people don't believe that. People like Nikki who have an amazing business, she didn't believe that. She didn't even strive for that. She just set out to help people, help herself. That was it. She says all the time her goals were to cover the cost of her Shakeology and help her family with groceries, because she was quitting her job to stay home with her new baby. And she says all the time it was going to be a struggle for us to make ends meet. Never in a million years did she imagine being top 13 in the company. And I think that that's important to realize, is that it just comes when you let it, when you just are open to receiving it. But that starts with holding up your end, which is sharing. So the other thing I did, sharing on social 3 times a day. That was something that I had to be conscious of. I didn't want to do it. That was like honestly one of the first things I can say in this business I didn't want to do. Like a lot of this stuff, I didn't struggle. I know that some people struggle with like making time for their PD or getting their workouts in. Like that just wasn't my area of weakness, but sharing was. I never felt comfortable with my voice, and I never felt like I had one, and I just wasn't sure that what I was doing was relevant. And I guess I always felt like I was like that kid in school that people made fun of. Like people didn't, like they weren't nice to me. And so I was like worried, am I multiplying that like on a huge scale? Like am I opening this up to just like made fun of worldwide? And I was in some aspect. I really was. I mean, there are people who have left crappy messages and said mean things, but, that stuff happens regardless, no matter what scenario you're in life. And so for me, it just was so much bigger than that. And so when it came to, do I want to post or do I not? The answer was absolutely not. But it brought me back to that vision, to that why. And that's why having that why is so huge. So sharing on social media and sharing with intention. I know there's like buzzwords that like, as you've been coaching, you start to hate it. Be intentional, stab her in the face. But be intentional with your posts. If you are not sharing the full realm of what we do as coaches and how it pertains to your life, you're losing out on the opportunity to connect with somebody. Sharing how coaching affects your personal life, how fitness affects your personal life. It's not just, we are not product placement ads. I hope that you guys have gathered that. I know that Jason knows that and his social media reflects that. And I'm sure that he has said that to you guys so many times, but just in case you need to hear it again, we are not infomercials. Beachbody pays a ridiculous amount of money for infomercials. They don't need us to do that for them. They need us to connect on a people level. And so talking about how you got your workout in the middle of the night because you didn't want to skip it, or you had to, if you I don't know if you guys follow Nikki, if you saw her post today or yesterday, she was pressing play with the baby laying on the ground. She was literally doing her push-ups over her baby. Like, it's things like that that make people see that their excuses aren't valid. I have a newborn. I can't work out. What's your excuse now? Like, I have a full-time job. I can't coach. People see Jason. What's their excuse now? Connecting on a human level is what really brings us to people. And so the sooner you can start doing that and sharing with people, it might not be perfect, you guys. It's okay. My lighting was terrible. I took pictures on my old iPhone, and I did no lighting. I had no filter apps, like nothing. And it was awful. And half the time I was like a blurry face, and I was like, Shakeology. But you fail forward and you learn. And in the meantime, you pick up people who are okay with you sucking, because they suck too. Running a 7-day free clean eating group should be your start. If you have not run a clean eating group, I don't know, Jason, I'm sure runs his once a month that you can probably jump in on. Sorry, I'm just speaking for you. If not, someone else in Beatnik would definitely be running one, or you can connect with another coach and you guys can run one together to get started. But if you have not run a free clean eating group yet, it's like your golden ticket, I would say, to get started. I think that was something that was really important for me in the beginning. And I have run a group almost every month since then, a free group. Anita Myron hosted our Beatnik call a few weeks ago. If you didn't catch that, grab the recording. I think it's on Nikki's YouTube. I'm sure Jason has posted it. But she talks about her free clean eating groups being like the key to her success in gaining challengers. And she says that once you've provided value to somebody, you have earned the right to ask them for business. And so if you are not running a free clean eating group, you're not quote unquote earning that value. And so that would be what I would suggest being your first thing to get going. It also teaches you like the basics of running a group, how to post meal plans, how to like posts if you are that unfamiliar with running a group. Like, I had never run a group before coaching. So I had no idea what to do, and it taught me so much. Hitting Emerald ASAP. If you are not Emerald coach, I would say hitting Emerald is like your next step. Like if today's your first day as a coach, welcome. Tomorrow you need to hit Emerald. I know that is like super in your face, but it's such a choice, you guys. And like, again, stab her in the face, your buzzword. But looking back on my business, it took me so long to dive into coaching, and then it took me like 2 weeks to hit Emerald because it was a switch that flipped. I wanted it. And so this is one of those times I feel like I'm just going to be berated. It's okay. I'm going to say it anyway because I believe it. And if you don't believe it, that's fine. If you're not an Emerald coach, you don't have a vision for your business. It's one of those things that's very difficult to say, but especially like looking at my business, looking at my coaches' businesses, when they have wanted Emerald like that, when they don't have a vision or they don't know what their why is, nothing's moving. And it's craziness to me that something that you can do overnight takes 6 months if you don't know why you're doing it. And so Emerald. And Jason, I'm sure, has all kinds of help for you guys, push groups, the Sprint to Emerald group, Beatnik has it. So there's a lot of tools to get you there. And if you're married or if you have a parent that's supportive of you, you're basically already halfway there. So okay, where was I? Attending team calls and National Wake Up Call. You guys, when I first started coaching, I got on every single call that Nikki hosted. I literally would get on, like if she was having a what is coaching call, I would get on the call and listen myself, even if I didn't have anybody joining. I just wanted to hear about coaching. I just wanted to pick up those lines that I could use or that I could translate into my business, that I would spark an idea for a post and it would motivate me and I would hear other people's stories. And I honestly would, if you go to Beachbody's YouTube channel, it has success stories of coaches. And I would sit in the beginning of the morning and I would literally cry when I would hear like moms talk about, being able to stay home with their kids. Or I remember specifically a single mom, and she wanted to leave her husband. Well, she wasn't single all the time, but she was this abusive husband. She wanted to get her kids out of there, and she would worry about how she would furnish a new place, a safe place for them to live, because I'm in a car right now. And she talked about Beachbody giving her like the empowerment to leave and the money to do it. And I would seriously listen to those things. And it just motivated me so much because, again, why not you, right? I mean, your story might look different, but the tools are the same. And so getting on team calls, getting on the National Wake Up Call every day, every Monday, or every day, whatever you're going to do. One-on-one call signups. Nikki offers this to her coaches. I offer it to my team. I'm sure Jason offers something similar to you guys. If you have the opportunity to get on a one-on-one call with your coach, or like a personally sponsored Zoom or an Emerald Zoom, anytime that you can grab time with your upline coach, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, remember that your upline coach is more successful than you are. And remember that they have put in more time than you have. And so, and I don't mean that in a bragging way, I mean that in you have things that you can learn from them way. And so if you're serious about your business, don't waste the opportunity to pick their brain. Just like if a professor gives you tutoring time after school and you're struggling in algebra, you go, right? And if you don't go, who do you have to blame when like the final comes and you're like, well, that was nice. Me, every time. Utilize your resources, because it's the only way that you'll ever be able to feel comfortable that you gave this business your all, is to utilize what's in front of you. Joining all push groups. So if you guys see that sometimes in Beatnik we'll have, like right now we have the September surge going on. Sometimes our upline will host like a large push to diamond group, or we just recently, a while back, I guess now, where was this year going, have that social media group or volume training group. All of those things, jump in on those, because again, it's just mountains of resources that are being given. The other thing that I think is really, really, really important to remember, and I struggle with this so much, is that not everybody has an ulterior motive. So for me, I struggled getting into coaching because I was like, these people just want me to be successful because they'll earn more money. Here's something that might hit you like a ton of bricks. Not everybody earns money from you. I'm here, you guys. I don't earn a penny from any of you being successful. Not one. I just want you to be, because I love this. And because I know that the more successful coaches who are out there, then the better world we have. And I don't mean that just like, oh, only Beachbody coaches. I just mean happy people, right? Like happy people don't kill their husbands, right? Happy people are just happy, and they're better to come into contact with. And what you're doing, what you have here is not just about you guys. It's about your kids. It's about the people who are in your lives. And so we really do have the chance to make the world better. And so that's what I really feel like I'm doing here. And so if someone's offering something to you, they probably don't want anything out of it. Or if they do, they also want you to be successful. Like, just because I want to help you guys doesn't mean that if one of you was like, hey, I found a way to have my volume contribute to yours. Do you want it? I would be like, yeah. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. It's not just people are nice or people want your money. Like, sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's, hey, it works together. People want to help you guys. Your upline wants to help you. Obviously the 3 vital behaviors, that was something, again, if I would say I struggled in areas, it was actually the stuff that needed to be done. Like, I was okay with all this other basic stuff, inviting, posting, PD. I didn't make time for any of it. I didn't want to do it. My invites sucked. I started doing them. I mean, I probably went my first 2 weeks. Once I hit Emerald, I was like, I need to take this seriously. I was able to sort of manipulate my way to Emerald. I had my best friend sign up, and then I signed up my husband. And after that, I was like, I'm going to have to do this. And I did it, and it sucked. And sometimes I look back at my messages, and I'm like, oh, girl, no. Like, it was like bad. Like, I was like, hey, do you want Shakeology? I'm sorry, what? Literally. Or I would copy and paste a message that was in like one of our beatnik scripts, and it would say like, hi, Jennifer, I hope your kid is good. And I'd be sending it to like a boy named Sam. And no clue, just copy and paste it, send. And I failed at it, and they sucked, and they were awful. But I did them, and I did them enough that a few things happened. One is I started to gain more confidence, and I felt more comfortable doing them. And 2, I sent out enough messages that when I could manage to get the right name in there, I was bound to come across people who were interested. The thing you guys hear a lot, and it's true, is this, just like life, is a numbers game. You are going to think that you have the best 3 people in the world to join your challenge group. And I promise you guys, if you only invite those 3 people, you won't hit Success Club. And it doesn't work that way. We have to share our story with a lot of people all the time. So when you hear the power of 3s, I would say that's low. It is what it is, and you can do what works for you. I think the most important thing is to do what you can do consistently. I tell my team this all the time. I would rather you spend 10 minutes a day every single day working your business than 6 hours in one day and then not check your messages again for a week. Because all you're doing is burning bridges and building walls between us and people who think that we're salespeople. And so if you can give your business consistently 10 minutes every day, and that's all you can do, and you're being honest with yourself and saying that's the best you can do that. Don't wait till Saturday, send out 75 messages, and then be gone like a ghost when they're like, oh yeah, no, I might be interested in that. Or worse yet, yeah, I'll buy that. And then you don't have a challenge group set up to help them, or they had an issue with their order, or they're not sure how to make Shakeology, and they reach out to you and you don't respond. Be consistently consistent. And if you only have 10 minutes a day, you're going to struggle getting your workout in. You better look for a 10-minute trainer. But messaging, posting, I would say anything that you're doing on that consistent level on the outside, so basically not inward, so connecting with people, because we are in the people business, is going to be like where I would suggest starting. Okay, where was I at? Sorry, I made notes and they're like literally all over the place. The other things I did in the beginning was reevaluating my business all the time. I set very short-term goals in the beginning, like what I want to do for the month. I would set successful goals every single month. I would set rank goals. I would set PD goals, like how many books did I want to finish. I would set group goals. What groups did I want to do over the month? And then at the end of the month, I would look and see what I was doing. What did my goals line up with what I had done? And when they didn't, I would look at, why? Was it because of me? Was it because of an uncontrollable source? Was it because of the time I put in, whatever. But just constantly reevaluating and sort of getting to that place that works for you. The other thing I feel like it's really important to say is that on the flip side of that 10 minutes a day, don't spend 10 hours a day on your Beachbody business, you guys. And I know that might seem counterproductive, but it's so unrewarding. When it becomes work and a job and you have to do it, that's why we are all either leaving or have left our other jobs, right? Because they suck. Don't spend 10 hours sitting in front of your computer. If you guys know Lindsay Stay, she's an awesome, she was in the top 10 coach. She's the lead. She's She's great. She just had a baby. But I heard a call hosted by her like a year and a half ago. And I wish I could. I sound very uneducated saying this. I can't remember. She was very sick with something. And she posted and she said, when I first started my coaching business, I had all the right things in mind. Like I wanted to be with our baby and I wanted to, I don't know, contribute to my family. She said, but then I got obsessed and like somewhere I stopped seeing the light of day. Like somewhere Beachbody became like an addiction or obsession or like it was a force that was driving her that wasn't like, oh, I just want to do something I love. It was like the comparison game. And she said it became like a 9-to-5 job that was controlling her again. And so I think that's often where new coaches get burnt out, is that in the beginning, you're not going to make a lot of money. It is inevitable that it will take time for your Beachbody business to grow, just like anything. It's going to take time to grow. And when you're spending 10 hours a day, every day, working on something that's paying you $50 a week, it's pretty hard to justify how your time is worth 10 cents an hour, right? So do what you need to do, especially in the beginning, and then get it done and be done with it. When you don't have a big downline team, when you're not responsible for a lot of people, when you don't have to run a team page, take advantage of that. Use that time to grow your relationships, to plan ahead, and to stay organized so that you can have the rest of your life. Because there will be a time that your business, as long as you stick with it, your business will require more and more of you. And that's great. When you can say, I sat at my desk all day and I still didn't get done everything I needed to get done. It's literally, guys, I'm going to cry again. I don't know what's going on with me. I think I'm still sick. It's the best feeling in the world when your business takes up that much of your time because it's successful, because it's growing. But when you're just like making up things to do and you're just like banging your head against the wall and like you spend all day, I don't know, trying to like search YouTube because you are avoiding sending out 3 invites. Like here, been there, done that. Just get it done and move on, and it will grow, and it will grow organically. One last thing I had was commit to figuring out Beachbody, the coaching business, for yourself. Again, this makes me sound very mean. Nothing makes me freaking crazier when I go into Beatnik and I see the most basic questions posted. Like, I want to stab out my eyeballs. Like, I see things like, how do I get to FAQ? Or does anybody know the promo price of said package? The amount of resources that we are given as coaches is insane. If you think about this as a chance that you have the opportunity to run your own business and you have somebody who pre-creates everything for you and puts it in this magical little tool called the internet, it's crazy, right? Like if we were like entrepreneurs who had like stores and we didn't know what to do, we'd be like knocking on the other store being like, hey, what do you usually do when your electric goes out? We don't have to do any of that. We have Google, we have FAQ, we have YouTube. Take on the responsibility of finding the things that you need for yourself, because you are going to learn a ridiculous amount by doing that. All of the things that I have learned in my business have come from stumbling upon a YouTube video or, searching an FAQ for one thing and finding 20 other things that were huge for my business. And the best part is when you are looking for something that you cannot find, create it. I look back on my YouTube channel and part of me wants to die, but the other part of it is like, oh, good for me. Like I was so empowered. I look ridiculous. But when I search my old YouTube videos from 2 years ago, I'm like making these training videos. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm like a training video about how to reach diamond. I'm like literally day emerald. I'm like, here's how you reach diamond. And I'm like saying these things. They're probably wrong, but I felt confident enough to say them. And I believed in it. And people will see your passion. You guys share that with your coaches and with your team. When you commit to learning for yourself, not only do you learn, but you show your coaches how to learn, you teach your coaches things, and you make them feel empowered enough to do it. And you make them grateful that they're on a team with somebody who cares, versus seeing these people posting like, where's the answer? I just can't find the answer. And I'm not saying don't ever ask for help. I probably struggle with that aspect more than anything. I'm like, I don't need you. I got this. But just be sure that you've done your research. And when you need to ask for help, but don't use it as an excuse. Okay, I think that's it. I'm done ranting. I'm sorry.
No, that was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Your coaches are going to be like, so I hate her.
How did I describe you in that group? I said she's a ball of fire and literally amazing. So, well,
good. I hope that holds true still after this.
Do y'all have any questions or anything, you can unmute yourself, and like we have a few minutes left. Feel free.
They're like, no, I'm afraid.
No, I'm not afraid of you. I think you're
Okay.
amazing.
Oh,
You're
thank
good. Yeah, I actually took a lot of notes, and I think what resonated most with me was figuring out your why. Because I signed up in May and I have yet to become an emerald. And so you were talking to me, rude. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, that's seriously legit. Like, that's what my big issue is like, I don't know what my why is. Like, and I've been like racking my brain trying to figure out what it is, why that I like this and why it is that I want to do this and why I have a passion. And I don't know why I can't figure it out. Like, it's not clicking yet. I feel like I'm working there. I feel like it's better every week, but it's not something that I can like sit down and actually like write out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think finding your why is hard, and it's probably a different process for everybody. I was like, I talk about Nikki a lot, but I literally learned everything from her, and I was so envious of her in the beginning because she knew why she was here. Like, she had a baby, and Wesley was her reason for doing this.
Right.
And I was like, I want a baby.
Yeah.
I was like, the dogs want me, don't they? They want me to be home. But if you can start, like I said, with figuring out what your problems are, that might help. And I think the other thing I sort of touched on this is your why doesn't need to be nice. And that's like, I struggled with that. Like, I heard so many people say, like, I just want to help people. I don't help anybody. I wanted to help myself. Like, I was so unhappy. I could care less what
good. Yeah.
in the beginning. So your why does not need to be anything that it's not, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like we all live in this realm of like, I need to do this, I should be doing that. Fuck that. Do what you want.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's sorry. I hope no one has kids. I'm like the new Andrea Crowder. But figure out what makes you happy, and I promise you that don't feel guilty about that, because if you're doing your PD and just going through it every day, it will evolve into something that helps other people too.
Yeah.
But sometimes we're just not in a place to be selfless, and that's okay.
Yeah. And I think too, whenever it comes down to your why, like, I know a lot of people are afraid to be on that spectrum of feeling selfish. Like, oh, well, part of my why is I want to make a ton of money. I see what Nikki's making and I want to make that. And just something within you, just it doesn't feel right. So it's just like, well, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. But no, it's just fine to say that you want material things, or if you want the beach house or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that too. I mean, I think that's totally true. And I think that as long as your why isn't fleeting, so like for me, I could say, I really want a pair of red bottoms. Like, are red bottoms going to keep me going every day? Probably not. I mean, maybe, I don't know. They're really freaking cute. But as long as it's not fleeting and it's something that will drive you for a long time, or that you have the ability to self-reflect and grow with it. I think that that's important. So yeah, just maybe asking yourself, what do you want? What do you want from life?
That's true. And I just have one more question. I hate to hog any more time, but so I've done quite a bit of research on my own, just in my spare time, about the business. So I've got like the back office and the online office, and then like I haven't really ventured onto YouTube, but I've been listening to podcasts like every day. What are the best resources to really learn and just like focus in on the business to, like, I guess, get the most of it, get the most information? I'm sure there's a lot of options, but I just didn't know what you guys use.
So you're not going to like my answer, but I'm going to tell you. I would say that the best resources is doing and seeing what you screw up at. And then, and then looking it up. Like, that's like how I learned everything was I got asked a question. I didn't know the answer. I looked stupid and I was like, never going to happen again. And then I was like, finding resources. So YouTube in general, anything Beachbody is amazing. So if you search that, you're bound to come across tons of top coaches. How to Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Robbins is a great PD book. And what's the other one? GoPro by Eric Worre or something. It's a really great book as far as network marketing in general goes. But I would say the best way is truly just screw up, or like at the end of each day, what you struggled with, and then go from there. It's so good. It's really good.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
But literally, like, every resource you can, especially like, obviously we have our team trainings, Beatnik has theirs. Beachbody itself in the back office, start going through all of their trainings, their little training tab that walks you through everything from coach to 15-star. And that's where you can learn like the extreme like basics, but they give you a ton of information back there that wasn't there even whenever I started. But honestly, kind of like what Olivia said, just I personally learned best, and it's just granted I'm a perfectionist, but so I tend to like to know everything before I even start something, and that was my hang up in the beginning. But kind of like Olivia, I was adopted by Nikki eventually because my coach literally up and disappeared, and just quick. Yeah, just up and disappeared. So I was just a new coach hanging out in Beatnik with no guidance. And I would just see Nikki's posts and she'd be like, oh, I have a new coach training coming up. And I was like, I'm a new coach. I should probably take it. So I jumped into that. And one of her first things was, run a 7-day group, whether it's a free group, Shakeology group, whatever. So I had no idea. I didn't know half the crap I know now about Shakeology, but I just did it anyway. And I ran my first group within that first month. And that was before they even had the sampler pack. So I actually had to order boxes of Shakeology, divvy them up, and then reship them out to these people. So it was just like, but I followed her template and I just did it. If people asked a question, I tried to look it up or I asked, and that's the best way I noticed my growth was just doing it and learning as you go.
And it gets better every single time. And that's like, no one likes to hear that, but like, because you do it enough, it just sort of becomes like a part of you, but that would never happen until it's just like fitness. You'll never be able to do a pull-up until you realize you can't do a pull-up and you keep forcing yourself to try. And then one day you're gonna be like, holy shit, I just did a pull-up. And then you won't even realize that it happened. Yeah. And then one day you'll be like Tony, just like up there, like, 75 pull-ups. Maybe.
And before it kicks us off, I did want to just say thank you so much, Olivia.
You are so welcome.
Perfect and amazing.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them to Jason so he can maybe send me a message or whatever. I would say message me, but something's weird with my thing, and I don't get messages from people I'm not friends with, like they're supposed to go to my filter. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so just so they're not lost.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you all. And the recording will be posted soon so we can go back and take even more notes.
Have a good night, guys.
Have a great night.